I'm here with David Hoffman from LOANSMART Mortgage, and I have a couple of questions for you. Would you mind answering them?
Sure, go right ahead.
How did you get started and learn about the mortgage recovery and surplus funds business?
Oh, that's a good question. Back in the 80s, I don't know if people are aware, I wrote a book and I talked a little bit about this in my book, shameless plug for my book. But I talked about how I got started with real estate and mortgages and the industry. And I purchased my first house, which I later paid off. And after the property was paid off, my FHA loan had a insurance coverage policy on it. So when you pay off a mortgage, the FHA insurance premium that you prepay at the time of the closing, that insurance coverage was no longer needed. And I learned that I was entitled to a premium since I didn't need the policy anymore. There was some money left over from that, which was prepaid, and I heard from someone that it was legit. At first I thought it was a scam, but I checked it out, and it wasn't as easy back then to check things out, but I checked it out, and filled out the paperwork, found out the paperwork, did some hunting, and I got the money. And about a month or two later, I got a check in the mail, so I was kind of happy about that.
Wow, that's interesting. What was it like doing business without the internet back then?
Yeah. Uh, Back then, we had to actually know somebody who'd done it, which made it a lot easier and a lot quicker. But we could also go to the library, physically go to libraries. Back then, we had congressmen and senators that actually were up on these programs. I don't know how they are today. It seems like what I see on the TV and on the news, everybody is one side or the other. Back then, you could call your representative's office, your congressman or congresswoman or your senator's office, and say, "Hey, I believe I'm entitled, or I heard about this benefit. Is it true?" And they would say, "Yes, it is. And here's the forms. Would you like me to send them out to you?" And they would pop those in the mail. So that's how I got mine back then. It was a congressman by the name of George Geekus. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he was the one that told me when I reached out to his office, and he said, "Yes, it is true. The FHA insurance program is there, and if you paid it off, you're entitled to a refund." And they mailed me the forms, which I filled out and got notarized, I think, sent them in. Like I said, a month or two later, I got my check. So I was really happy to get that check.
Oh, that's very,
But
very interesting.
it took longer back then, a lot longer than today getting on,
Okay. So, how are things today with business versus how they were done in the past?
Well, today everything is internet focused and more specifically smartphone or tablet focused. So if you've got a smartphone or you've got a tablet, you can find out instant access to information without delay. Um, that is a tremendous, tremendous benefit compared to going to the libraries. You had to make time to go to the libraries. So you have instantaneous access to information, which uh, shortens the amount of time that you can get access to benefits or access to money or loans or find out about programs. Not that I have anything against people who use social media, but I think that the internet is a two-way resource. In addition to just consuming information, um, you can actually take action. So the ability to find out about things that you're entitled to and then take action on them, the time has shortened from something taking 2 to 6 months to learn about and take action. You could do it the same day from your smartphone. And we have the ability to allow people who think they've got funds. We built an app for that so that they've got an assistant available to them 24/7 if they want, not only for the users or the property owners, but also for our settlement and claims agents. So things are a lot quicker now. Benefits quicker, loans can come to you, the approvals quicker, and you can get the money in your pocket quicker.
So, Mr. Hoffman, wrapping up, what advice would you give somebody if their family lost their property or if they just wanted to get into the business, um,
Well,
finding surplus funds?
that's an excellent, excellent question. If your family has lost a property, don't assume that all is lost. Learn from the mistake. The mistake that I see everybody make, including my own late father, is acting promptly. If you've got to pay bills and you've got things you've got to pay, the first thing you should always pay is to pay attention. That's like my famous quote for those of you that have known me 30, 40 years I've been in the business. Always pay attention. Of all the things you got to pay, always pay attention. That being said, paying attention, there are things that will come in the mail if you have updated your mailing address. Sometimes these things will go to old addresses. So for those of you that have lost your property because you did not pay attention, I'm assuming that that's why you lost it, because most people are just not going to just surrender or give up. They just forget. They don't have reminders, or things get sent to the incorrect address. So pay attention to those things that come in the mail. Open them up promptly, and then take action. That is the number one advice that I would give people who have lost their property. Pay attention, take action, and then investigate. Use the information tools and the information resources, the smartphones, the tablets, the internet. Use that to quickly get information. You can search all 50 states. There are people who have lost their homes and they may think, oh, well, I checked and I didn't find anything. Valid statement. You checked and you didn't find anything. However, to assume that you will find the information only in the county where you live or only in the county where your family member lost their home, that is a big mistake. Who knows the corporate address where Countrywide Mortgage is? That company went out of business, but they're no longer in business, but yet they had a lot of people's mortgages that are still on the books, and those refunds would be wherever that company's corporate office address is, or in the corporate office where the trustee is, which isn't always necessarily the address where you live. So you would have to be thorough and detailed, you'd have to check all of the addresses that those different corporate entities could be in, and check with them and get confirmation that they have funds that they're holding for you, or confirmation that they do not have funds for you. You can do that by checking court records as well. There are a lot of different courts. There's superior court on the state level. There's county courts. There's general district courts. So there's a different tiered structure. There's even federal courts. There's even tribal courts. So you have to check all of the different courts to see if they have funds. And then just checking and getting something in writing. So that's the process generally. We found that the best way to do that, if your family member has lost a home or property, checking with them is to use computers. That's a good use of the computers and the mobile devices. The devices are great input-output devices, your smartphones. You can tell them what you're looking for. They can spit the information back out. That's what a good use of trying to find out if there's funds available. If you go to our website or you work with one of our settlement and claims agents, they're going to manually enter information. Sometimes if you're doing the searches yourself, you could enter the incorrect information. Also, you can enter the correct information, but the records where the refunds are being held could have a typographical error. For instance, I found a refund due to a family member today using our own platform. And I also found out that there's another refund for the same exact family member, but the letter is different. One letter in the name is different, and the funds are there, but they just misspelled the name. So if you misspell your family last name, or you find sometimes you get things in the mail and your name is misspelled or your family member's name is misspelled, it's a pretty good bet that that also is incurring in somebody's database somewhere else. Why would they send you something spelled incorrectly? Those are some of the search techniques that our settlement and claims agents have learned. Another thing, you can be entering your name correctly or with variations and aliases, and you could not be entering it in the correct city or the correct address. Sometimes in the database where they hold the money, they will use the address of the court if they don't know that your address, because that's the now location where the funds are now being held. And a lot of people don't know that. So if you're going to just go do one search for your one name and just use the one address, it's a possibility that it might come up blank. So you have to use all of these different variations to be thorough and detailed and then acquire proof. And I know I'm a little bit long-winded, but it is, think about imagining, just if I'm long-winded explaining it, imagine how long-winded it is to go search all 50 states and all the thousands of counties that are out there and all of the courts. It's better to use computers to do that. And you can do it manually. A lot of people do it manually and are successful. You can use different computer search programs that will help you. And we just want everybody to get their funds. It's not that the entities holding the money are trying to keep them from you. They're not dishonest. They're honest. It's just that they don't have the funds or the budget to employ the latest technology and the staff to do that. They're overwhelmed as it is. There's literally millions of dollars out there and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have lost their homes. And that's why we changed from helping people get loans and approve them for loans, and we still lend money out ourselves with our own funds on our own properties that we own. We don't lend money out on other people's properties. We develop properties and lend the money on those properties that we build, or these houses that we build, or these tiny homes. Those are projects that are not easily fundable, by your local bank. But we found out that more people are losing their homes than can hold on to them, and that's where the unserved needs of the community are being met. So we just spun off and changed the direction, and that's why we decided to use artificial intelligence as a search platform that we could put in all the different data fields and data sets and give people their money. So I hope that answers your question. A little bit long-winded, but it is a lengthy and detailed process.
Well, Mr. Hoffman, that was very, very excellent information, and thank you for your responses, and we appreciate you.
No problem. We're here for anybody that needs us. Have a great day.
Thank you.